Welcome to the College Football Show. I'm your host, Spinksy, and joining me this week is Sports Talkline royalty, Stephen Vanover. Thank you, Stephen.
All right, Spinks.
It's been a few weeks since we've had a show, guys. We've had a few things going on, and the college football world is changing daily. 2 weeks ago, I was looking at no season at all. Last week, there were conferences releasing schedule after schedule, and we'll focus on that now. News is breaking every single day, and we'll talk about big news with the Big Ten coming out this morning. So let's see how this all goes. But let's start with Power 5 conferences releasing their schedules. Later on, we'll talk about what this means for the group of 5, and we've already got a football program cancelling their whole season. So we'll touch on that at the end of the show. First of all, Stephen, thank you for being here, mate. Everything changes every day, so this college football thing is going to be something that we need to look at every couple of days, really, because we don't really know what's happening.
Well, we're talking NCAA, so I had to break out the big guns here and go, all aficionado, look like we're hanging out with the guys there. And, you talk about the Big Five, there's all sorts of meetings going around here. And on the article that you wrote, which was very well done, by the way, thank you, sportstalkline.com, shameless plug, number one, we count them because there's going to be more, okay?
Yeah, sure.
It's very well written, and you point out at the beginning, here's a breakdown of what we know so far, but then actually, this is just what they're saying right now, because it's all fluid, isn't it?
It sure is, yeah. A lot is changing sort of every single day. You guys are still getting a lot of cases over there, and there's still no way to sort of squash this virus as such. Over here in Australia, we're having a second wave, so it's not likely that things are going to ease up anytime soon. So I think the college football conferences are just trying to be realistic about what's happening around them. And as much as I want a season to go ahead, I'm not sure we're going to actually have one at all. But at the moment, we're here to be optimistic and not think about the bad things going on. So let's start with the Pac-12. Now, the Pac-12, probably my least favorite conference of the Power 5. The Pac-12 has released a schedule during the week that looks like a 10-game season starting in late September. So you're looking at about 7 or 8 weeks before they actually start. Some of the front runners in the Pac-12 are Colorado, Oregon, and USC. Of course, USC used to be a powerhouse back in the day, and are kind of starting to get back there, but I will see what happens. Starting in late September for the Pac-12, I feel this gives them an edge over everyone else. It gives all the other conferences a chance to start, and it gives the Pac-12 a chance to see what other conferences are doing and where they're doing their mistakes and where they're not doing things right. And I feel the Pac-12 is probably at an advantage starting late. Van, how do you feel about the Pac-12 starting so late?
It's each area has a schedule that's impacted by a lot of things. In no particular order, how hard hit their teams are by the COVID experience right now. I mean, if all your teams are in Wyoming and Nebraska, you got a pretty good shot of pulling off some games. But if you have guys that are coming in, players that are coming in from New York, from Florida, from California, from Texas, oh my God, did I just name all the big football schools? States? Yes, I did. Then it's going to impact you differently. So that is a big thing. Plus, how agile, how flexible, how powerful is the group that runs your conference? Are they on top of the game? Do they know what's going on? To be frank, almost all of these guys came out of the gate slowly, waiting for leadership, waiting for somebody else to pave the way, and nobody really did. So, they're coming on late. It is what it is. They need to start. I actually like how they, laid out what they're trying to do. I don't think it's too aggressive. I don't think it's too optimistic. And like all the conferences, they seem to be open and willing to be responsive based upon what's happened. Yeah?
Yeah, and I think a few of them have sort of said they'll have a 10-game season over a 13 or 14-week a year, because that gives them then time to move games if viruses spread and stuff like that. So do you think that's going in the right direction?
Well, I mean, they can have lots of games because they don't have to worry about the players having to go to class, right? I mean, nobody's going to class right now.
I remember back in May, I think it was, a prominent school came out and said there will not be football unless kids are on campus. We are a school first and we are a football program next. That is a downright lie.
Okay, yeah.
You are a football program,
what's
then you're a school.
Yeah.
You play football first and then you're a school. We all know this. Come on.
By the way. All right.
So now we move our attention to the Big 12. Now, originally, you can find on the Sports Talk Line website, very, very well worth a look. The Big 12 have come out and said they'll play a 9-game schedule with 1 non-conference game, so 10 games in total. Oklahoma and Texas are your 2 runners there. But this morning, we've received a tweet to the beautiful world of Twitter, to our favorite.
Hey, if it's on Twitter, it's true.
It's got to be true. Yes, exactly right. So check out at College Sports TL on Twitter, and we've got a tweet from Pete Thamel. Now, Pete is a verified account, and Pete is a gentleman and a scholar. And Pete has come out and said the Big Ten presidents are meeting today. Like us, yes. Pete has come out and said the Big Ten presidents are meeting today, and all options are on the table. There's some presidential things saying they're looking at cancelling the fall football season. So the Big Ten having a meeting today to actually discuss whether things are going to go ahead.
It's going on right now, as I understand it.
It's happening right now, yeah. So hopefully we'll get an answer during the show. If I do College Sports TL on Twitter, and you'll find us there, guys, with all the updates that you need. This is big news. If the Big Ten cancels, is this going to have issues going forward for everyone else?
Here's a question that I think it naturally segues into, because you're talking about, the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the Pac-12. That's great. They all have plans now, and they're all a little bit different, but all around 10 games, give or take one or the other. Okay. So will it be equitable at that point to pluck the national championship matchup out of this?
Yeah, I've thought about that as well. We'll sort of touch on the ACC after, but if we're going to talk about that, are we looking at there being one conference winner, and then those 5 teams then go into a group and they all go down to Arizona to the weekend and they play off? And do we get a national champion, or do we get voted? Is there votes for it these days, or are we kidding ourselves thinking that we'll have a season at all?
Oh, exactly. I mean, they would actually have to make it through enough of the season, each one of them, and then we would have to be in a good position in the middle of winter when the virus is at its worst, supposedly, because that's maximum transmission time.
Exactly.
So, I mean, what could go wrong?
Exactly. What can go wrong? It'll be fine.
All right.
So as we
I was prepared for this, though. Okay.
As we move along here, we go to the Big Ten. Now, the Big Ten, they decided they'll play a 10-game schedule as well, and they've built in 2 bye weeks. So that means they can accommodate for other things going on. That will start on September 5th. So that means in 4 weeks' time, the Big Ten are playing football. 4 weeks, folks. 4 weeks. Get out there and wear your mask. 4 weeks. We can see some football on TV. Obviously,
I like this approach, man. I like this plan.
It's good. Get out there in front of it and make it happen. The teams to beat, obviously, in the Big Ten are Ohio State in college football at the moment. You've got Penn State there as well. So you're looking at some awesome matchups right there. So hopefully you stay home, folks. You wear a mask, and we get some Big Ten football in just 4 weeks' time. It'll be so good.
That's very exciting. I like the plan. I like the aggressiveness of it. I like how they're going out after it. Let's wear the mask. Let's see if we can get through this. And,
exactly right.
it's very realistic. It's very upfront. It's very honest.
It is, yeah.
I'm excited. And there's going to be a lot of good football to watch there. A lot of good football.
Yeah,
now, I haven't had a chance to break down all of the different schedules and compare them.
Yes.
When you're comparing the schedules to each other, are you aware, are they playing each other, their own conference, enough? Or is it all just...
I think you play everyone in your division. So depending, obviously, what conference that you're in, you play everyone in your division, most of the other division. So I think there might be one or two teams that you don't, depending on how many teams are in your conference, obviously.
Right.
So I think there's a few. I think we'll touch on the SEC obviously after, but the LSU schedule is a lot easier than that Alabama. So some of you may know I'm an LSU fan, and this is the year we go back to back. So
it's the first I heard of that. I had no idea, man. You hide it so well.
You're a liar.
Yeah, okay. Now we know two things, okay?
So there are some schedules that are easier than others, obviously, because it's going to be hard. Some conferences have got 10 teams, some have got 12. And it's also so spread out. It's not like all the SEC teams are in Texas. It's not like all the ACC teams
are man, they really are spread out.
Country. They're spread out. So that's what makes it harder. And it's not easy like the basketball to have 10 guys on the team and you go into
all right, quick change of subject. This is something that I've talked about in previous seasons over the years, okay? It's not something I bring up every season. But just looking at the professional league, the NFL, for instance, it never made sense to me that the Dallas Cowboys were in the NFC East.
Yeah.
Now, I love the rivalries, don't get me wrong, but it just never made sense to me, okay? And so on and so forth. But now with viruses and things like that really becoming the new norm, I mean, we've been hit by recent outbreaks of several viruses. This is the first one we've not really been able to contain at all.
Right.
The other ones we were able to contain and hold, pretty much at our borders. So it's becoming the new norm. With that in mind, controlling movement in areas and zones is very important in order to keep sports viable. What do you think about restructuring how conferences, divisions are set up to where the SEC really is the Southern?
Yeah. And I was actually shocked. Like, I looked into this a few weeks back and I was actually shocked that the SEC wasn't more a tight-knit group. They're very spread out.
Not at all.
And then how you've got Texas teams in the SEC and some Texas teams in the SEC. Yeah, and it seems so strange that I think back in the day, originally it was grouped in areas around town, but now it's very spread out and there doesn't seem to be any kind of structure to it.
Look at the Pac-12. So, I mean, it got started, basically right there on the coast, and is primarily that is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool division for that conference.
Yeah, you've got your Oregons, your USCs, your California Golden Bears, your Hawaii's in there too. Everyone's up that coast, whereas everyone else is just so spread out. And what I don't understand with the NFL is how the Cowboys are in the NFC East, whereas the Houston Texans in the same state are in a different division. Like, what is with that? Ridiculous. Yeah. So I understand competition being there or thereabouts, but having the Cowboys against the Texans should be a rivalry.
They should play every season, man.
Every season. And they play hardly ever. So, yeah, I think matchups are more built on games these days. Like, there's nothing better than an LSU Alabama huge matchup.
I think baseball handles that a lot better when they have teams that are in different divisions that, they'll have the freeway series, the whatever. They'll create competition between these two teams if they're local. Doesn't matter what division they're in, whatever.
Yeah. So look, the fourth of our conferences we're going to talk about is the ACC. Now, easily my least favorite division, the ACC.
I love the ACC, man.
There is one good team in the ACC, Clemson Tigers. Now, they've just dominated for years. I understand the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida State Seminoles were good back in the day, but that was back in the day. It's time to be better now.
Deion Sanders, baby.
Deion Sanders, baby, boys. Now, the ACC have decided they would add that there's 130 college football teams, and there is one team I dislike the most, and that is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Now, I'm an LSU fan, and I would support Alabama over the Fighting Irish. I do not like Notre Dame at all. I can't explain.
I've got to give a shout out right now to a lifelong friend, Betsy Griffith, if you're watching. She's hated Notre Dame her whole life.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
She's a total West Virginia fan, and she wants West Virginia to win. But she would rather Notre Dame lose than West Virginia win.
Yep, exactly. I'm with her. And I just don't know why. I don't know what it is. But this year, the ACC said they will bring Notre Dame in to their conference because Notre Dame, they're an independent school. So technically, they've got no one to go with this year.
Yeah, they have their
ACC,
own television station, everything.
Yes,
at one point, they were the thing,
Money. They've got a lot of money to throw around. So the Fighting Irish have decided they would join the ACC, which brings in heaps of money, and they're probably going to take the title away from everyone else. Notre Dame will come in, and they might not go all the way, but they'll be up there. They'll be ahead of the Hurricanes. They'll be ahead of the Seminoles. I think they'll come in and potentially win their first conference title for 130 years. So I think it's good for the ACC. I think it's good for them to sort of have more competition. I think the original schedule, they had 5 or 6 games against them already. So I think this works in everyone's favor.
So,
if, of course, we get.
So how far are we into the podcast so far? Because I just want to wait when you ask me, and I'm going to tell you, look, I don't give a heck what you're saying. Clemson's going to win it all again. So, it's,
Yes. Maybe,
I mean, my son was born in the Carolinas, man. I mean, I know what goes on back there. Okay. And Clemson is just awesome. The recruiting is awesome. If they get to play out the season, if they get to keep their athletes, if they get to play their game, if their QB gets to be their QB, are you aware of him?
I'm not. He looks like he's about an 18-year-old chick, yeah. Long hair.
Yeah, you see the picture or something, right? Yeah.
Smoking hot. Yeah.
This kid is going to take the league by storm. What Mahomes did to the NFL, he's going to do to the NCAA. That is my prediction.
There are rumors circulating at the moment that the New England Patriots are trying to tank in 2020 so that they get the first overall pick and can take.
Oh, that explains the Cam Newton signing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. Oh God! Okay.
Comment below.
Comment below. Stephen Benover. And look, the final conference we want to talk about is the NFL's favorite breeding ground for talent, the SEC. The SEC is the best conference in football, best conference in all of football.
Excuse me.
The dominance of some of the teams in this thing. The SEC has come out and said that they will play a 10-game season starting in late September. Now, these guys are the best of the best. I think the SEC has about 25% of all players drafted every year. These guys are the best. LSU, Alabama, Auburn, Texas A&M, all the good teams are there. Georgia. Now, as you can see, Alabama and Georgia are probably my 2 front runners this year. Jump onto the Sports Talk Line website, have a look at the article I wrote called "Will We Have a College Football?"
Incredible talent base.
Yeah, and the talent.
So, Spinksy, I got to ask you. With all of that talent that they have in the SEC. And I think the depth of talent in the SEC is incredible. It's unmatched. It's unparalleled. Okay. I think we can both agree on that. So it basically, is it the coaching that sucks? Because the champion's coming out of Clemson. So it's like, you book it, Dono, it's happening. Okay, again, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Okay, and so I'm just, is it coaching? Like what is it?
You've seen Coach Ogeron. You've seen Coach Saban. You've seen all the talent there is in the SEC. Mm-hmm. The ACC has one good team. So for them, they get to just march.
Well, that's all they need. They got together and said, you know what? Do we want to have like 8 good teams? Like, we only need one. So,
some smart man tweeted out this morning, it has been 623 days since LSU lost a football game.
That was a hell of a tweet. Hell of a tweet.
Beautiful tweet. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, props to that. But be sure and follow him on Twitter at Spinksy NFL. Okay, and plus his college account.
College Sports TL.
College Sports, yeah. And you get me at Stephen Vanover, and be sure and hit the the subscribe and notify on YouTube here.
Okay.
Man, again, all kidding aside, the talent level. The depth of it across the SEC is insane. The amount of NFL players that are drafted out of that conference right now is just nasty. With that in mind, though, there is a flaw to their system in that they use the KISS system, every darn one of them. They keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. They line up, they let their athletes play, they roll over you, they win in the 4th. If they aren't already ahead by like 60 points, then they win in the 4th. Okay. That is how they play football. It's no secret, man. It's like Novocaine. You just put it in, you just run those plays, you just let them happen. It is successful football. I love it. And they all have their defensive tweaks, which are all a little bit different, which I love. And I think that's what gives each team their dynamic, more so than their offenses, which are very similar, shall we say. But they're in Clemson. They've got a slightly different formula, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's so much easier to recruit talent when you're already strong. I think Dabo Swinney at Clemson, he's trying to change the culture down there. Obviously, growing up as a 10-year-old or whatever, you want to play with your Alabamas, your Auburn's, your LSUs. They're your Notre Dames, your sort of USCs, depending on where you live. But the way Dabo's come in and changed what they do there and changing the culture and not making it about the quarterback is your number one man. Everyone is your number one man. And guys want to, as much as I hate them, Dabo is doing the right thing. Dabo is trying to make it a great culture there. Everyone is worthy of being a first-round draft pick, and that's what he sort of instills in everyone. And so,
well, look at the defensive talent that's come off the boards there. The defensive linemen, it's just incredible the depth of talent. You hear about Clemson, and you think, oh well, that offense, but actually, it's their defense that has been pushing this team, right?
Yeah, between them and Georgia, I think they had probably 2 of the best defenses getting around. I remember the year, might have been 2 or 3 years ago, Clemson had 3 defensive linemen drafted in like the first 2 or 3 rounds, and within like 2 or 3 games afterwards, they had they've got all these rookies in, and their defense was exactly the same. So.
That's just freaky,
that talent. It's good. Yeah, it's so good.
That is just freaky. That is just freaky. Well, and so we're looking at an exciting NCAA season here, aren't we?
Yeah, we sure are. Yeah, and I think being conference only, I think, is probably going to change for the future. We'll sort of touch on the group of 5 soon, but maybe conference only is the way to go moving forward. But that also sucks for teams that are in the group of 5. So many times Alabama have gone to some terrible school in the middle of nowhere that hardly anyone's heard of, and that school makes millions and millions out of it. So is it time we squash that on the head? Like, I believe there was a theory going around that UMass are obviously a group of 5 school. I think they're in the MAC, maybe. And UMass were playing Auburn this year. And UMass were going to make $1.7 million off that match. And that game alone would pay for their whole athletic department all year.
Okay,
so
but now
UMass don't get that match.
Hold on. I hear everything you're saying. And, there's 2 sides to the coin. And there's a lot of money to be made. But there's also this. Sports, to me, to a lot of people, I feel, is about the underdog. We love to root for the underdog.
Love underdog.
And those games you're talking about, every weekend of the NCAA season, you're going to have more than a handful of those games going on. Okay?
Yeah.
And they're going to turn out as prescribed. Okay? It's a gimme. But there's going to be one. There's going to be one. Maybe 3 a season, but definitely 1 a season. And the underdog is going to kick almighty booty.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's awesome to watch, man. When you get that, and then especially, it goes on YouTube, all the highlights, all the incredible plays. It's a combination of the other team being overconfident and then the other team just getting it together, getting geared, getting on the same page. They got to have at least one player, usually more than one, that's going to rise to the occasion and never have a game like this the rest of their life. It's going to be Al Bundy, 4 touchdowns in high school, It's going to be that game. And it's going to be incredible to watch. Great theater. So I hate to take away anything that's going to take away the chance for that team to create those memories and that experience that's got to be so special. I've been in sporting events where, you're down, you're getting beat, and the other side's starting to laugh at you and stuff. And then a couple of you look at each other, man. A couple of you look at each other and you go, you know what? And then at the end of the game, you walk off the field, you got the W, and the beer tastes good, man.
Much better, does it?
Oh, yeah.
It tastes so much better. Look, I don't want to take those moments away from the fans and the people. And I still remember the LSU Texas A&M game that went to like 7 overtimes. It was like 74-73 a few years back. We've seen these smaller schools get their edge over the big.
That's awesome!
It's great. I love a David over Goliath story. It's awesome, but I just think maybe it's due for a change. Maybe we should play. Maybe we need to play the Power 5 in the fall. Maybe the Group of 5 needs to be in the spring. Now, I know this is a big difference, but there's a bit of talk at the moment around that maybe the Group of 5 needs to move to a spring. And if you're good enough in the spring, then you can still be drafted in April. So shall we move that around a bit more and have more of a stronger competition in the fall? And then that also means we get more football. I know The Rock has just purchased the XFL, so XFL will be back at some stage soon. But
The Rock says it's happening. The Rock
it's happening.
Are you going to tell him no?
No way. No chance.
I'm not person to person. I'm not. No way.
No chance.
No way, man. No. I mean, if I say something like that, I got like a swimming pool behind me.
They started
I
selling.
want something that I'm going to hit, that it's going to be, okay, I'm not concrete. This is good because I'm going back and it's going to hurt.
They started to sell his tequila over here in Australia. I found it last night and I thought, you know what? I will purchase that. You know why? Because if I don't, I feel scared. It'll come after me.
All right. Well,
it was good.
So, look, as we get through this, we don't know what's going to be happening with the schedule. Who has canceled their season so far?
So it looks like the Yukon Huskies are the first team to cancel their season now. One of only four independent schools. Yukon doesn't have the notoriety or the money as the Fighting Irish have. So the Fighting Irish have obviously joined the ACC. So Yukon have decided that they would fold this season. I'm sorry to Husky fans out there, but it doesn't really mean that much. Like, to lose one school is not that bad, but is this a follow-on? Yukon decided on Thursday, our time, that they would...
This is another domino falling, right?
Yes. And then now it's the Big Ten having their conference as we speak, and we could have no Big Ten. Does that fall into the Big 12 next week? How does this look going forward? Do we think that obviously this won't be the only team? I think the Power Five probably need to have a good look at themselves. But it looks like Yukon could be finished for this year, and we'll see how we go moving forward.
Oh, man. Fingers are crossed that people are going to find ways to combat the spread of this. It's going to take a while to find an answer to the virus itself, per se, but the spread of it is a matter of coming up with mechanisms in society that we can agree to work on together to get it to work. So first up is wear a mask when you're out there. Please wear the mask. If you don't want to wear the mask, hey, everybody has the right to not wear a mask at home. Okay, you get out in society, wear the fucking mask. That's it. End of discussion.
It's not hard, people. It's not hard, folks. Over here in Australia, we wore masks, except for people in Victoria. You guys suck. But everyone else, we wore masks, and currently, at the moment, it is actually raining outside, so I can't actually go outside. But please wear a mask, and we'll get sport back. It's not hard. Just wear a mask. It's easy, guys. Come on.
What he said. Okay. All right. So, look, man, that's where we are right now with the NCAA, but it's moving fast right now, isn't it?
Yeah, things are changing every day, man. I can't see this being the be-all and end-all. As much as I want a season to happen, I've already penciled in that first weekend in September. I've taken a day off. I'm going to sit down with my friends, and I'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning over here, and I've got it all worked out exactly the way I want it to go ahead. I have 12 or 13 hours of sport to watch, but that changes. That changes every hour. That changes every few hours, and I'm not sure we're going to have a season. I'm the most optimistic person there is. Yeah, I'm sitting here at 8:30 a.m. morning. It's raining outside, and I still want to find the best for people. And I want the college football season to happen. I'm so optimistic, but
I think it's going to get going. I don't know if it's going to finish, but hey, I'm going to be there for every play. It's very exciting. We got NBA going now. You guys have got several sports down there. As a matter of fact, I understand you might have to give a shout out about a favorite team down there.
Yes, thank you for the thread too. Yes, my Fulham Football Club, my soccer team, who they've been in the championship over in England for the last 8 to 9 years. They've finally joined the Premier League again. They won 2-1 on Wednesday morning, so they'll be back with the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Fulham. Baby, we're back. Can't wait. Game's worth about 350 million. To us. So all you soccer fans out there or football fans, just get ready because Fulham are coming for you, baby. We're coming. We're back. Yeah. We're back.
And this is all because Sports Talkline started covering Arsenal. And he said, I can't take this anymore. We got to have something else.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Terrible.
All right, man. Sports. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Stephen, thank you very much, man. It's been awesome to have you on the show, buddy. Hopefully, we'll have some news on the Big 10, the Big 12 really soon. But thank you for joining us. Please tell the folks how they can find Sports Talkline, they can find you, everyone else.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Beautiful. All right, guys, I'm out. Hooroo.
And stop it. Yes.